Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Let me edit myself real quick. How's everyone doing today? We are talking white women, black men. Yes, that is what we're talking today. Waiting for our guests to come in the meantime. Between time, if you could, the question, if you could go ahead and share this to your page, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, thanks. Um, Shaquan, there were two two questions posed. The first one was um it was a couple of days ago, maybe last week sometime. It was, do white women view black men as a fetish? Are black men a fetish for white women and vice versa? And the next question is up in the comments right now regarding the subject matter, white women, black men. What was your initial thoughts regarding that? Just the title alone, not like what you thought about black women. I meant white women and black men, but the title by itself. What was your initial thought process for that? No, I'm so tired. I'm just waiting for my host to come in and or co-host to come in, and we'll get it started. We'll get it. Oh, about that question. So I was walking through the mall, scratching my. Anybody who knows that song, you finish it. I'm not gonna finish it. Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. The walk through the mall, and I noticed that there was a couple sitting in the middle of the mall. They were sitting in well, not the mall, it was a store, whatever. And they were sitting on the bench, and it was an interracial couple, and he had his hand on her thigh, and she was like caressing his head, and I couldn't really say it in the question when I asked it, but she was like rubbing his hair, staring at it like it was just the most craziest thing she'd ever seen. I'm like, I feel like what's going on here? I know I get people trying to touch my natural. I'm like, no, but thank you. I'm sure you have some black friends that will let you do it. I'm not one of them. But I was just wondering, like, how does that go? And then I also decided that we should maybe talk more in depth about the Lord rebuked, in depth about the subject matter and see what comes of it. If you all have any questions, definitely ask them. I'd appreciate it. That would be dope. Hopefully you can join in. If you want us to be able to see your comment with your name, you'll have to log into the YouTube account. You should be able to see that. You should be able to see that. I'm sorry, something is distracting the mess out of me. You should be able to see that there's a link for you to watch it on YouTube and comment, because we would like to see your name, because a lot of times I ask who said that, and I don't know half the time. Oh gosh. So that's what we're talking about today. Okay, y'all. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the comment section. If you don't want to watch it from YouTube, you want to watch it from Question Time Live, that's great. If you want to watch it from my page, it is my page. Cool beans. Go ahead and share, like, and subscribe to the YouTube page, just so you can be abreast of what's next, what's coming up. I'll be posting the October schedule after this joint. Yay. You're here, girl. You're here. I can't see your face, but you're here. All right. So my co-hosts have arrived, and I will bring your lighting looks a little tough, but that's all right, Tay. I'll bring them in an order in which they were received, not by God, but by StreamYard. Hallelujah! All right, here we have sisters only. Well, you know, they always say that to us, not anyway. And next we have our good friend, Tay. Welcome to the two of you. us. Welcome. How are we?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm
You're ripping and running.
something like it. Um, when you're not talking, because it sounds like I think Tasia, you have a scratchy scratch going on with your microphone, but it's all right. When you're not talking, go ahead and mute that bad boy. So I'm just gonna go in and say, how are you, Tasia? What's going on with you? Okay, she'll come back. She'll come back. She always
She'll be,
does.
yeah,
She always does.
she'll be back.
Yeah, I don't like what they think that's cool to do. I've seen a lot of that. You've seen a lot of what? It was a comment that said
Let
they've
me.
seen a lot. You've seen a lot of a what?
I didn't see that comment.
I'll post it. Don't worry. There you go.
I don't like it.
So I was talking about the question on question time regarding the interracial. Did you see the interracial couple and the white girl was playing and the guy and the black guys like she was just rubbing his hair just and then just so enamored by it like it's a creature from the Black Lagoon and she's discovered this wild beast.
Are you saying someone who's in a relationship with this guy, or just a
I don't know
random?
what they were. They're in the mall, sitting, chilling, and she was just because
I
an observer.
I think that Caucasian people have a fascination with um, brown people's hair. I don't think it's always necessarily negative. I remember my oldest son when he was about 1 or 2. He had little kinky hair. Maybe he wasn't one yet because we hadn't given him his first haircut. And we were in a mall or a store or a restaurant or something, and his mother was holding him. And this white lady came up and started pulling his hair. And it's like, oh, his hair is so cute. And my son's mother almost lost it. Like literally, she flipped her top about that. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, maybe, at the time, but apparently it was. But yeah, they do think. I think they are fascinated with the texture of our hair. I mean,
First
think
of
about it.
all,
White people try to get their hair to be our texture, and then some of our people try to get our hair to be their texture.
because someone once told me, and I ain't gonna say who, but I know her and we related. She said, if your head nappy, white folk ain't happy. So we did that to conform to society, and now that we don't care about society and we care about us,
Right.
conformity is out the friggin' door, the window, from in a moving vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back, Tasia. You're dark, but it's okay. We're gonna talk about this. Don't knock it until you try. Oh. She said, "Don't knock it until you try it."
What?
Okay.
Hey, she. Oh, okay. She muted. It's good.
Right.
Uh,
I need to know what that means, though. Okay, Tasia, I'm gonna I guess unmute your mic. But you're crackling. But I really want to know what you mean. Don't knock it till you try. Don't knock it till you try what?
oh,
I think your signal is low. Your your internet is low. I'm pointing like you can see me pointing. But no. So y'all would have chopped the crap out of her hand.
I was just gonna ask you that. Why? Because I saw you getting ready for the karate chop. Do you think that act was racist?
Okay, so long ago, in the world of racism and slavery in the Americas, they locked little black children in things called zoos, and they would allow the white parishioners to travel along and pet little animals as they stood in their little cages.
Wow.
And the fact that you feel that my hair is something that makes me animalistic, or my skin makes me something animalistic, or my abilities in running, because who was it, Hitler, that said black people are animals? The fact that you think those things are animalistic, no, you should not touch them. Don't touch my skin, don't touch my hair, and don't touch these skills. You couldn't anyway.
If your hair was done and braids are nice and you
No,
were
don't
out,
touch them.
and a black lady,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
even if the white lady is, I guess that's a woman thing, even if the white lady is obviously not
Still
being
touch my hair.
demeaning, okay, but the sister can say, "Oh, girl, look at your hair."
Yeah, I've done it before. And then I actually did no, I've done it before. I think I was on a plane somewhere and I was walking on, and there was a flight attendant there, and I was like, "Girl, your hair is not," and then I said, "I'm sorry. I should ask to touch your hair." And I mainly said it because of the people that were around, teach y'all a lesson. And two, because yeah, I should have asked to touch her hair. It's her hair. It's technically, what is it, battery
Yeah,
to touch somebody without their
without
permission.
their permission.
So I should have asked. So I stopped and she was like, "Girl, please." And I was like, "I know, right?" So it's like she knows what braids. I know what braids feel like. That black person knows what braids feel like. But you're like, "Dang, them things are nice," and you're not like, "Oh, your hair is so kinky and coarse and fluffy," or whatever the
Right.
case may be. So I was on, and I'll bring you in just a second. Don't knock it until you try it. Um, I was standing somewhere and I had my hair in puffs. And this old white guy walks by. And this is not about hair, this is about white men. I mean white women, black men. But he walks by and he bops my puff.
Mm, 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 mm.
He probably doesn't touch his wife to this day with that hand. I hit him so hard and said, "Don't you ever touch another black person's hair in your life. That's battery. Don't you ever do it." He was walking off. Yeah, you gonna
He
feel
was a
that puff.
stranger.
Yes, he was just walking past, and he's like, "Boop boop."
What the heck is wrong with people?
And I was like,
That's
"Oh,
weird.
yeah, it is weird. It is weird." But even if I had like a friend from high school, don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair.
Right here. Got it.
So now, okay, Tasia, we bring you in. Tasia, girl, what's going on? Okay, well, while she is in the dark,
Figuring that out.
so how do you feel about, not if you agree with it or not, but how do you feel about, okay, I ask this way. How do you feel about white women when they're with black men in public and how they behave?
I think, let me say this as a disclaimer. I
Hey,
am not against interracial marriages, relationships,
right.
or anything at all. For me, it doesn't work, but I'm not against it. I think white women are. I was at a few. Well, let me not say that. I was at. Well, I recently witnessed a interracial relationship, and I think that, to me, now this is me. To me, it feels like when a white woman is with a black man in public, she's trying to prove to everyone else around that she treats him better than anybody could. Now that's me. Cause I know
Okay.
ain't no way. I could be lost. They could be like that way always. But that's how it feels to me.
Okay. And I asked that question to you because you're a guy and you probably see things differently than what women notice or black women notice. When I see a white woman with a black man, and hey, marry who you want to marry. I don't care. Just invite me to the wedding, let me get a piece of the cake. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. Let me be the flower girl, whatever. I noticed that they'll try to, yeah, he's mine. Or look at you like, I don't know. I've seen someone look like she was ashamed, like she wanted my approval to be with him. And I'm like, you're not going to get that because I don't care enough.
Right. And so for me, it's an interesting dynamic. I often said that if I ever dated a white woman, this is gonna sound real crazy, but we're being raw, right? Raw news, no fluff.
Say
It would
no
have to
fluff.
be like Miss Honey from Matilda. She would have to be a real white woman, not one of these white women,
See?
right? Not one of these white women with eyelashes and bundles and all this other kind of stuff. That ain't my type of white woman. If I'm gonna be with a white woman, I'm gonna be with a white woman. I ain't gonna be with a white woman trying to be black. Cause I might as well. When I see that, I saw two this week, and I said to myself, it was two black dudes in the front seat, two white women in the back seat, and they hop out. They look like the white version of the city girls. They didn't look like the city girls. They look like the town girls. It was real deal. I said to myself, if you're gonna go get her, she got these black eyelashes on. She got her hair dyed jet black. She trying to look like a sister. Just get a white woman. If you're gonna get a white woman, get Miss Honey from Matilda. Get you a white woman. Don't get somebody who trying to be a sister, because that don't make sense to me.
All right. Hi, Ash. Welcome. Welcome to the party. Welcome. Did you have anything to say? Look.
I don't even know what everybody was talking about.
Oh, we're talking about how do you, when you see a white woman with a black man in public, how do they seem to behave to you, white women?
Um, I don't know. I think more so now they're just kind of whatever. But before they appear to be uneasy, like kind of awkward.
Hmm.
Whenever you seem like they kind of clam up, maybe. But now, I mean, it's such a norm that they're like, hey, whatever.
If you were to date, because Black Sheep said, Miss Honey from Matilda's, who his white woman wants, what his white woman need look like. What does your white man need look like? If you were to date one, what would be the?
I wouldn't want the stereotypical white guy. I want somebody kind of with swag, but not trying to be black or not trying to be other. Um, but just like a good amount of swag. I'm trying to think of somebody on TV that I'm like possibly, but I don't know. But I wouldn't want like a white guy, and I wouldn't want a pale white guy. Like I want somebody tanned. Yeah.
Whenever I think about my ideal white guy, it's like David Beckham. You're not like oblivious to culture, but you look like a white guy. Your pants not sagging. You're not using slang terminology. You're just that, and you have to be like the perfection of white guy. No, no blemishes. No, just the perfect thing, like a friggin' Ken doll. There's nothing on him. Um, Tasia, what is your ideal white guy? Okay, we'll come back. Um, so do you believe that um black men are a fetish for white women?
1,000%. I think from the days of slavery and even before that, 99% of their attraction to black women from white men is a fetish. I actually screenshotted something to send to you earlier, Brandon. I did not. I forgot to, but it was about Lonnie Love, I think. She's
Hmm.
the host on The Real. She's
Hmm.
been in a relationship with a white guy for 3 years that she met on christianmingle.com, even though they're both not Christians. Um, and so I think there is some type of, and I'm going to say this without sounding rude. I think that because the imagery that black women are stereotyped as being over sexual, they're over sexualized, things of that nature. I think there is a guilty pleasure associated with a white guy dating a black woman that they indulge in. I think that's 1,000% a part of it.
But what about a white woman dating a black guy?
I think that for the black guy, it may even be fetish as well, because a lot of black men think that prominence and their status is increased by having a white woman. And a lot of them actually, like, I have had conversations with black guys who really buy into that. This is our way of getting back. Like, they treat white women like trash on purpose. Yeah, the ownership, and I think white women like that a little bit too. I think they buy into the savage, the attraction of being owned and possessed by the savage.
Okay.
I think that's a real thing too.
Okay. Interesting. I think black men, I think less now. Now less, it's more, it's okay. It's society. They've changed. Interracial couples are okay. You love who you love. Da, 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 da. But I do feel like white women initially get into it for the curiosity of it all. I don't think they have a fetish necessarily for black men, but they have a deep curiosity for them. Not just because black women are talking so greatly about them. Not just because Leroy, come on here and talk. Not just because black women are talking so highly about black men. And sometimes I know I get it, y'all calm down. Sometimes black women don't talk so highly about black men, but we're talking about the highly speaking on black men right now. And not only that, but their friends are also telling them about what their black guy did, or how the black girl looked at us while we were walking down the street. I've heard that conversation before. And I want to say, girl, she wasn't looking at you. She was looking at him because he was probably attractive and you aren't that much. So it's like, what were you thinking? Calm down. So I think that's where their curiosity comes from, but not a fetish. Black men and white women, I think it's status. They fed into the stereotype or the mindset that black women have attitudes, that black women don't listen, they're alpha, they do this, that, and the third, and like, oh, I'm just going to get a white woman and have me somebody that's submissive and da 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 da.
Oh, are you? Don't we all have curiosity of one another?
No.
So,
What? What?
no, I think not the intrigue. So let me talk about me. I'll be transparent. I'm not a racist. Neither is my mom. Let me put that disclaimer. You'll see what I mean in a moment.
Well,
so my mom
can't be
died
racist, but go ahead.
Right. My mom died in 1995. I was 8. She was 37. The reason that I've never dated a white woman was because what my mom put in me the first 8 years of my life. Never had sex with one, never dated one, never kissed one, never wanted one. She told me 3 things from the time I was born until I was 8 that changed my life about white women. First thing was when Magic Johnson was diagnosed with HIV. This had to be like 92, 93. My mom told me, she showed me literally pictures of Cookie Johnson and told me that Magic Johnson got AIDS, HIV, because he cheated on his beautiful black wife with a whole bunch of white women. Don't judge my mom. What she really was saying was, these celebrities, they get rich and they cheat on these good women with white women, and it led to AIDS. Whether he got AIDS from a white woman or not, I do not know. But my mom ain't no liar. I'll tell you that part. 2, my mom said to me, if they can't use my comb, don't bring them home. We ain't going out to buy no other combs for these white women. Bring somebody home who can use my comb.
So you're talking about them thick bristles, them wide bristles.
Right. My mama said, that's what my mama said. That's what my mama said to me.
That's real. That's hey now.
And the last thing my mom taught me, and it stays with me to this day, this is the most important thing. I'm hosting. I'm here. Just me. I'll wait on you to get back, Brandy. Looks like you had some connection issues.
I don't know what just happened. I'm back.
I said I'm hosting.
What happened?
Right.
But
The
the third
last thing,
thing,
the last thing she said to me was this, and this is the most important thing, the thing that really stuck with me. She said, if you bring home a white woman, you're saying I didn't do a good job.
see, and that's something that that I find interesting.
She said to us, me and my brother Willie, she said, when you're sick, I cared for you. The food you like to eat, I cooked for you. The style and the things that I do that. She said, if you go get something that I can never be, it has to say to me. And when you think about that, and that, I guess that could go with multiple cultures.
Hmm.
She really was saying that if I'm your example of a wife who cares, a mother who cares, and you go get something that I could never be, something that I never was, maybe there's an indication that there's something wrong with me, or you know. And I know
I
that
know
that
what you're saying.
yeah, you know what I mean. And so for those reasons, I want somebody that I can identify with, someone who I don't want my mom, but I do want someone that's comfortable in my culture and my skin. You know what I mean? And so that's why I said I'm not against interracial dating or marriages. Me personally, though, for me to get a wife that was white and say to my daughter, I want you to be just like your mom. Why don't I want her to be like my mom? You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say this. So perhaps as a child, your mom's like, if I didn't wasn't a good example, then let me know because I suck. But what if it's like, well, that's how you have to be with your kids. You have to be supportive with your kids. You have to be loving with your kids. You have to be nice to your kids. Well, you should be anyway. So that's an example of how a mother is and not how a black woman is.
I think that's there may be some truth to that. I think there is some truth to that, right? I think that there are some universal traits that mothers should have. Karen, I don't think that white people don't care for their children or don't love their children,
Right.
even if they don't season their chicken. But my point is, you have to make sure that the love and care. I think that there is an understanding that comes with being a black boy mom from a black mom perspective. I just think that there are differences. And like I said, I'm not saying my mom was right or wrong or wasn't racist or prejudiced, but I am saying it was enough to keep me from ever having anything serious with a white woman.
Okay.
Are you texting me right now about my comment?
No, I was not. I deleted what I was about to say, and I was like, no, we're good." I mean, I don't know how I haven't had dinner at a white person's house, so I don't know if they season their chicken or not. Looking at these TikTok videos, it seems like they season their chicken just fine. Welcome back, Tasha.
Thanks.
Okay,
And to be
so
back.
now that you can talk to us, what you said you wanted to be on this one? Why for? Come,
Okay,
baby.
so the history about me. I used to be married to a white guy. We were married for 7 years. We had no children, praise God. But
Holy moly!
Just happened.
no, I mean that's a personal thing with me. So because at the end of the day, I still have to see this man or whatever. He would
Oh,
still have
you're
to get my
saying
child
because of
life or
you
whatever.
guys being divorced, that's a good thing,
Yes,
not because he was white.
Oh,
right,
Okay.
I
exactly,
thought she said it because he's a
exactly.
bad dude.
No, he
Like,
wasn't. I'm not saying he was a bad guy. He was a great provider. I'm not gonna lie on that area. He was a great provider. He definitely provided me with a lifestyle that I've never had. At the time. Now, don't get me wrong. When I met him, I was very independent. It took me a while to actually allow him to start buying things for me because I always, if I wanted it, I would get it. It would just be, I'll just take care of it. But with him, like I said, back to him being a great provider, and we were like basically the power couple as an interracial marriage couple. We own our home like at the age of 24. Um, I'm not gonna say that that was unheard of, but it was a lot earlier than some people. Some people, own their first home in their 30s or 40s. It just depends. But I'm going to say in regards to the whole identifiable thing. I mean, of course, he couldn't identify with me in regards to race, but he never went to the point of disrespecting me. He never called me out my name. He never would say the N word. He tried it one time, and I'm not afraid to say it. I did pull a knife out on him, and he learned from that day.
Wait. You say he tried it one time.
But
Wait.
never did it again.
Don't just wait.
Roll over. Don't just brush over that
Yeah.
one.
You say he actually
Oh
called
no.
you the N word?
Okay, so it was not necessarily a disagreement or an argument or anything like that. I'm not gonna say that. He was I can't remember the whole incident, but honestly, I know it was not an argument. I can say that much.
Oh, he just said like, "What's up, my nigga dog?"
I,
No,
I wanted, it was something like that, but I said, I'm not your homeboy. I'm not none of that. I'm girlfriend. If that's something that y'all say, then that's on y'all. But as far as me, it doesn't fly with me. And like I said, he wanted to try it, but he found out quickly that didn't work. So, I wasn't. Hello. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, like I said, it was a one-time thing. It was like never anything like okay, this is something on the regular. He never called me that I know of. He never called me that behind my back or anything. Or even when I'm out with him, he never. Like I said, it never came back up. It was like, okay, this is what it is. We're gonna nip this in the bud quickly.
Did you let him touch your hair?
I mean, he was my husband, so yeah.
How did that make you feel? This is a genuine question. Like I'm curious personally.
Okay.
Like when y'all were dating, not when y'all
When we
got
were
married. Like,
dating,
but like yeah, before y'all got married.
no, he never tried to reach to touch my hair. At the end of you have to understand, I wasn't the first black girl he's been with, so he's had experience in that area. So I can't. He never really reached for my hair while we were dating, unless it was, time to be intimate. Other than that, but like I said, I wasn't the first black girl he dated, so he had experience in that area.
Brandy's, you could do a whole show with your facial expressions. When you said
What?
Brandy's facial expressions are great. So
I'm just here to observe and listen. Go ahead, sisters only.
I think that that's another thing that my mom didn't teach me, but that would like but I'll be honest with you, I ain't got to be arguing with her. If I'm with a white woman, I don't have to be arguing with her. If I'm arguing with her daddy, her uncle, we watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game, and niggas slip out of somebody's mouth, it's on and popping. Everybody can get it. And
Everybody.
my fear is that something that I could mentally get over? Because name calling happens in relationships from time to time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Black girls, when they get mad, they call you a FN. You know what I mean? And that's supposed to be that's supposed to be the you never call a man a PUSSYN or FUCKN. You don't do that. But you know what happens, right?
I thought it's a PAN. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. You're right. So those things happen. But my thing is, if I was with a white woman or in her circle of friends or family members, and they're drinking, they're sober, whatever the case is, and that slips out, Like, where do you go from there?
First of all, ain't gonna be no slippage. They've been saying it well before you came around. One. And two, it ain't nowhere to go but low. I know Michelle, Madam Obama, I'm going low. Okay. And it's gonna come up with the uppercut.
Right.
Anyway,
Ooh, that was
I
good
don't think you
form.
can I don't think you can go anywhere from that. If I was with a dude, a white guy, and I don't care if he's talking to his friends, I don't care if he's I don't care. I don't care if he's calling one of his friends that. No, 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 no.
Even if you're married like Tasia was for 7 years.
I married somebody I did not know.
I want an annulment, not a divorce. This marriage
I
never
did
happened.
you fooled me. You got me. You said you've never kissed a white girl?
Let me tell a story. I don't tell a lot of people.
Well,
I'm
you're
gonna tell.
about to.
I'm gonna tell you this is a secret. My very first girlfriend in pre-K
Not pre-K.
was a white girl. Her
Okay.
name was, and I think I shared this on a podcast or a broadcast with you before when we were talking about when do you know you're black. Her name was her name was Bobby Ray. Now that I'm
Bobby
older,
Ray.
now
I
that I'm
like that
older,
name.
now that I'm older, I realize that that was indicative of that these people were probably lower echelon white people out of the trailer park, but the double name or country, because she was probably. I'm just saying, but I remember when her parents, you know, I guess she told somebody she had a boyfriend or whatnot. But I remember it was a big deal at our school, our elementary school in
She probably
Orlando.
said, I have a boy friend.
Right. And so after that, I think that's when my mom started telling me about Magic Johnson and the other two things that she told me. I think, that was a thing. I saw that. What Spike Lee movie was that where the black guy was dead? Jungle Fever, maybe, where they were arguing outside and it was a normal argument, but it escalated because of the neighbors. Anytime, and this goes with co-working relationships, whenever a black person is upset, even if it's a normal level upset, and he's articulating his point with assertiveness, I found out as an articulate black man that I'm more of a threat because
yes.
I had a situation at Domino's a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I go to Domino's. I order
Domino's.
what I order online. I call the store. I say, hey, I'm having problems ordering online. I put the same order in over the phone. When I get there, it's a different price. So the manager, we're going back and forth about the price. I'm like, no. And she's like, no, I can't give you that. I just can't give you this for this price. I could lose my job. And I'm looking at my phone. So she pulls her phone out and orders it online, and the price is the same. The person I was with literally said to me, I was kind of, too much with the person. Listen, whenever a black person expresses themselves, you are automatically labeled as the angry person, and you're automatic. I feel like
as the aggressor. You're automatically labeled the aggressor.
If I were arguing with my white woman and she acted like I was gonna hit her or her family,
yeah.
I that would bother me. If we were arguing in public and the police came and I went to jail just because I was the black guy, I think it's and like again, I'm not against interracial relationship. I am against me being in a interracial relationship. What you do, I don't knock, but for me, it's a no.
Right. So speaking of that, arguing in public, and so there was this. I don't know if anybody saw, but it was on Instagram. I'm trying to think about it. There was this white woman. They were at a football game. I'm assuming it was a football game, and she was arguing with this black man, and she hit him. She slapped his face. So he pushed her. And then her dude jumps up, and the two of them have a little fight. The black guy knocks the white guy out. The white girl comes back at the black guy. He hits her. And then once he hits her, like 3 white guys come up and try to hold back the black guy. And I'm like, why didn't they hold the white girl? Because you can see in the video that she is the aggressor, that she hit him first, and they're all like, she hit him first, she hit him first. And I think that, and I said all that to say, that's why if I were there, me and old white girl would have had a problem, because he can't hit you, but sweetheart, I can. And y'all know that, y'all understand that, oh, if this black guy hits me, it's going to be, oh, he's dead.
That was scary for me, for that guy, because I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, he's at a baseball game, I believe it was. And I remember thinking to myself, he's in a mob of people. And even though she was the aggressor, he had already knocked out one white guy. Cold. Now they know what he can do. At what lengths will they go to stop him today? That
they just
scary.
Use two people to hold him.
Every time I watch that video, I tense up on the inside, because I'm thinking to myself, they will. Listen, brother, you knock out a white guy, you already got a problem. But you're gonna hit the white woman
who deserves it.
Yeah, we're gonna neutralize this threat, and we'll go home tonight. We'll get a bond, and eventually we'll plead out to assault or something with time served for the 24 hours we served in jail. But it is it's an interesting dynamic. I think that because the nation is so polarized with racial issues, and the racial divide gets bigger every day, I think almost now it's just as crazy as being in a relationship back then. Could you imagine you go to your potential in-laws house, you meet a girl at college, and I'm not talking about like Get Out, but you meet a girl at college and you go home with her Thanksgiving or Christmas break, and as you're riding into her rural community in somewhere in Florida, whether it be Ocala or this or another, and you see Trump flags and Trump signs. And for me, I equate Trump's presidency with racism. I do. That's my thing. So if they're Trump supporters, which a lot of them are, I personally do not believe that you can support Donald Trump and not be a racist. That's my personal belief.
Let me ask. I've kissed a white guy before.
Romantically?
What do you mean romantically? Like let's just say I kissed a white guy before.
Okay.
And
I know what you do for a living, though, so that's why I was asking.
It was the weirdest thing. Oh, not acting. Like, don't tell my porn life. And it was the weirdest thing, because I just don't know how it's done. How it's done continually, because I felt like my lips were so serious. I felt like I was kissing teeth, man. And it just wasn't a vibe. Like, I need you to have at least a bottom or a top lip, one or the other. But
take me off, Brandy.
I'm just saying that's neither here nor there. Now, my question is, can a white woman really, like, say you come home, or not you, let's use just any old body. Let's use, is his name Shannon Sharp, dark skin, just beautifulness.
Yeah.
Say he comes home and he's married to, let's say, what's that girl's name? The annoying one. I don't know. Whatever. We'll call. Give me a famous white person's name.
A famous white person?
Yeah. That's
Nicole
white.
Kidman. Nicole Kidman.
And he's married. He's married to Nicole Kidman. He comes home on some Black Lives Matter stuff. Like, let me tell you, do you think she'll be able to console him well enough? Not like a black woman could. I don't want people to put that in there, but well enough.
You know, I honestly think, again, and this may be the draw for a lot of black men, because they claim they're with white women because they submit and they don't nag them and this and another. White women who are with black men do seem really supportive. Like Leroy Elroy got no job and he's aspiring rapper. Elroy. And Junebug, they do seem like they're for the cause and they're down with whatever you're on. You know what I mean? I have seen some. So I think, and most of them who date. Now this is an interesting dynamic. Most white women who date black men are pro-black. They'll be out there with your Juneteenth shirts on and the whole 9 yard because they're always trying to conform to you. However,
Or
black
are they
men,
putting on for the put on?
well, yeah, but black men that date white women refuse to wear a Juneteenth shirt. That's the difference.
Oh, right.
Now that's crazy, right? If it's a white woman with a black man and she wants to be with that
She's
black man,
supporting him and
she's
he's
supporting
supporting
him.
her with the All Lives Matter shirt.
Right. But a black man who is trying to get in with the white woman, he's gonna wear an Oxford shirt and loafers and get around her dad and act like he likes Trump. Well, the black people don't like the Democrats because they always give them welfare. I don't want welfare. I want to make my own way. Yeah, and you know
Is
what I
that how
say to
they
him?
sound?
Nigga, please. But oh shucks, Brandy. But let me say this too. Alan Keyes. You know who Alan Keyes is?
No.
Alan Keyes was a congressman here in Florida for many, many years. He ran for president, and now he's over in Texas, and he holds some statewide office over there. But he was very pro-Republicans. Black people are extremely lazy, and they want everything. That's why they're the Democratic Party, because the Democrat gives them all these social programs. Well, Alan Keyes recently had his wife arrested while he was serving in an official capacity somewhere. His wife went out for drinks and got pulled over, failed a sobriety test, and was arrested.
And as well, she should be.
And Alan Keyes is railing against the police officers in Texas. How dare they do this to my wife? And my wife was drinking nothing but a water with a lemon in it. And I'm saying to myself, Alan Keyes just realized he's black, because all that hate that he spewed out in tech and here in Florida, he's been in Texas a hot year. And sure enough, ma'am, I don't care if you're Mrs. Keys or Mrs. Alicia, step out of the car. And literally,
And walk this
literally,
line.
yeah, literally, now he's calling for the sheriff and what the officers are out of control. But this is the same guy in Florida who was pro Blue Lives Matter. It's not about Black Lives Matter. But now that his wife was arrested and spent a night in jail, now he's trying to make it a police problem because he don't want to say what the root of it is. They pulled over your black wife, who was arrogant because she's Alan Keyes' wife, and she found out that in Texas, that don't mean nothing, sister. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. And I said all that to say this: with white guys, do you really see white guys date black women and try to act black? You don't see that. Eminem dated a few black women, but you don't. You see white women changing more. I don't see white guys. I see white guys who think they're black, date black, try to date black women, but I don't see white guys date a black woman and change to being pro-black.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, white women though, they'll try it. They'll go get bundles and eyelashes.
But some of them are like that before they get with a black guy. I want to ask this question, or not me, but Leroy asked this question. Can you talk white? And people ask this question a lot. And then he also just posted this one. How do you act black? Would you like to answer? Can you talk white, which has been talked about forever?
So I think that you can't talk white. I don't think that you can talk black. I think anytime you give in to that persuasion that what you're really saying is talking articulate either cannot be obtained by black people, because that's what they really say. And for someone who tries to be proper and has been my entire life, I always got that. Why you talk white? And then I got to a point where I said, shame on my black friends for equating to talking proper as talking white, as to say that you can't be black and talk proper. So I don't think you can talk white. I don't think that you can talk black. I will say this though. There is a cultural balance or cultural language for black people that's full of colloquialisms and ebonics that white people do take as a form of white girl was acting and talking black earlier. Make it make sense. First of all, I'm
Wait,
making it make sense right now.
you are?
But there is because proper English was held back from blacks for so long. There are a lot of colloquialisms and a lot of dialect and speech patterns that are owned by the black community that white people can take, just like our music and things of that nature. And they'll rob your culture but hate your people. Colonizers will. So I do believe that there are ways that white people, white women can borrow our culture, but
Borrow. Anyway, yeah.
still,
Keep going.
but yeah, but I don't think that when it comes to talking proper, that's it. Like it's like anyone else who's bilingual. Black people, we do have a language that is ours outside of proper English that belongs to us. So I think you can talk black. I think it's easier to talk black than it is to talk white, because talking proper does not denote that you're talking white.
I'm going to say it like this. The reason people use the terms, oh, we own language. That's what he just said to you. I'm going to put it like this. When you say talking white versus talking black, it's to identify the difference in speech pattern. It's not to say that only white people talk this way and only black people talk this way. It's to simplify. It's a simplification of saying you're talking in this speech pattern as opposed to this speech pattern. This speech pattern is more related to black people, while this speech pattern is stereotypically related to white people. That's the difference. And yes, you can act black. Black people have a swagger that's cultural and it's natural about ourselves. One thing is our facial expressions. We are very similar in how we use our facial expressions and when we use our facial expressions and how dramatically we use our facial expressions. That is an act of black culture. So that's how one can act black. It's not a disrespect. It's not an offense. I mean, if you take it as such, then hey, it is what it is. So stereotypes are okay.
I want to say this
Sure.
too. I can't see these questions. I want to say
Who
this
said
too.
that?
I want to say this too. Think of it. You really can't find it even more. You can't find it as prevalent more than it is in Haitian culture.
Amen.
Think of this. In Haiti, 90% of the country speaks Creole, but the
Okay.
language of Haiti is French. But only the top 10% in wealth and socioeconomic status speak French. So to say that someone speaking French is acting rich would be true, because the farmers and the 90%, they speak Creole, which is a broken French. It's not classic French that those who are able to go to school in Port-au-Prince and in other places where they actually teach textbook French learn. So if someone from the field works their way up, moves to Port-au-Prince, learns French, and begins to speak French, if they hear someone who does not have their workup story speaking Creole, they can 1000% accuse that person of taking an experience, or excuse me, the result of an experience without going through this experience. That's what happens when white folks try to talk black. Our broken English and our ebonics does not come from a place of endearment. It comes from hearing grandmama and them say grandmama and them, from hearing finna, from hearing these things because they did not get it through education. What you have is a white guy who goes to school, public school, has learned proper English, and is deciding to pronounce his words in broken English or Ebonics to fit in or to imitate what he's heard through hip hop culture. Those are two different things.
Right,
Because
imitating.
you want to fit in, but do you want my experience? I have the right to use Ebonics if I choose to. But
So
you don't have
okay.
the right to use Ebonics because you don't have the experience for it. So what you're doing, my friend, is capping and capitalizing on the pain of my ancestors, and I think that's wrong.
So he asked another question that says, "Is Creole a language?" And I want to stop you before you answer that. And my question is, why do you ask that question? Why do you ask, "Is Creole a language?" And okay, and then he asked another question. It says, Tasha, jump in whenever you want. It says, I'll post this one. Don't we all imitate what we experience and hear? I imitate things based on what I've been through, not based on what I've seen or what I've listened to. The only thing I do imitate that I have never probably experienced are accents. And that's, I mean, I don't think that's offensive. But somebody might find it offensive. If you do, my apologies. So don't we imitate what experience we hear? I don't know. This doesn't have anything to do with white women, black men. But if you'd like to answer that question, you can. If not, then we'll move along. I'm just waiting for him to respond to why does he ask if Creole is a language? I'll give him 2 seconds.
I think that we often do borrow from other cultures.
We should.
Yeah, I think we do borrow from other cultures. I think it makes us better as a people. But again, I think the problem with if someone is only borrowing, I think that the root of the problem is if I'm borrowing from another culture to fit into that culture, I think that's different than borrowing from that culture
To be cool.
to be cool. Like if I'm in this culture and this is required, like I gotta know Spanish to survive. They don't have to do that when they come into our culture.
Mm-hmm.
If you date a black girl brother or Mr. White brother, you don't have to get goals and tattoos. If your only purpose is doing that because you're trying to be black, that's a problem.
Right. Or to be accepted
Yeah, or to be
as
accepted. I think
cool.
that's what makes
Right.
that problematic.
Um, So, to answer the question, Rosetta Stone, I believe, actually has a language course on Creole, which more than likely constitutes it as a language. Um, when you call any government office, they do ask you to pick your language, and Creole is one of those languages. So I think it constitutes as a language. And even if it is not, and this is just my thoughts, even if it is not a language, right? You can liken Creole to the African vernacular, the African American vernacular. It's that culture of people, how they
Mm-hmm.
talk, how they relate to one another, how they interact, how they do commerce, just like African American vernacular is a way we communicate with each other, with other Black people, how we relate to other Black people, and how we navigate this world together. That's just like telling slaves that they can't sing what are those things called? Hymns,
Spirituals.
spirituals,
Yeah, Negro spirituals.
which is a language because the songs told stories or told you how to do such a
Perfect
thing.
example.
So that's
Imagine Massa sitting on the porch saying, I looked over Jordan and
I'm
what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. And he ain't never, or he over there singing, you turn around, put a hole in the ground, hole him a hole. And he ain't never hold before. You don't
he
deserve.
hold before he
Yeah, you don't deserve to be singing, meet me down by the river, the day has been rough. No, it hasn't been rough, Massa. You got up this morning to my mama watching your kids. You got up this morning to my sister cooking your breakfast. You got up this morning to my brother bringing you the paper and my uncle cutting your grass. It has not been hard for you today. Don't
At
sing my song.
all. Right. He asked, does Rosetta Stone have Ebonics as a language?
Watch your mouth,
No.
first of all. Purple
They do not
Ebonics.
have Ebonics as a language because Ebonics doesn't have a set of rules.
Right.
Creole
But
has a
it is
set of rules.
definitely, yeah.
Spanish has a set of rules. Swahili, Russian, English, they have a set of rules. Ebonics is a cultural thing. I don't think you're
Yeah.
getting that, but Ebonics is Ebonics, and we don't even call it Ebonics. I took a class called Black English. That's what it's called, Black English.
Right.
Does not have a set of rules outside of the Black community. It has rules within our community. So if you want to write that program for them, by all means,
And
please
you
do
can't
get the money.
discredit it. You can't discredit, and this is why you can't discredit it. It's too prevalent. You can take certain things and cultures and certain habits in speech, in cooking, in life, and you know it has to be a Black thing because whether they're Black in Georgia, Black in California, Black in Mississippi, Black in New Jersey, they do it. So it is ours. We own it. It is ours.
I'm hold on.
No problem.
I didn't even have my caps on. And I agree, we own it. It's ours, and we own it by default. To be honest, like if we do have our own language, but we weren't allowed to share that language during those times because they didn't want us to be able to communicate with one another. Um.
I'm still here.
Oh no, that's yeah. I was reading a comment, but I'm trying to figure out how he can explain it to. He said, "Explain it to us." Creole is a language. Oh, here you go. There we go. Yeah, she knows. Talk about it, girl. Creole is a language. It's already understood as such. It's not broken English. It's broken like broken English with Jamaican people. People say speak Jamaican and they look at you like you're crazy. Leroy, does that make do you have a question for that? Because I can't break Creole down like she can. Thank you, Sonia. How you doing, girl? Um, so now getting back to the topic at hand, which is white women and Black men. Um, do you feel you have to come back and answer this one? Do you feel that white women feel like they have this upper hand or superiority amongst over Black women, or maybe over any woman, if they're dating a white man, a Black man? Black Shear, that would be a question for you, or anyone that wants to comment on it.
Say that one more time.
Do you feel white women have a feeling of superiority over other women, or or other women or Black women in particular when they're dating a Black man? I keep saying white man.
1000%. I think. Let me get this straight. I just want to say this for the record. I think white people know that the white privilege is real, no matter what color they're dating. If they see a white man with a Black woman, they don't think that the Black woman has elevated to their level. They think, oh, he's given up his privilege and he's downgraded. It's all.
Wait, say that one more time.
Oh, if a white woman sees a Black man with a white woman, that doesn't elevate the Black man's status in their eyes. Oh, excuse me, that doesn't elevate the Black woman's status in their eyes. Like, okay, she's on our
Oh,
level.
I see what you're
All it
saying.
does is all it does is diminish the white man's status. So if she's with a Black man, 1000%, she thinks she's superior, but she thought she was superior when she was with a white man, and he left her for a Black woman. Same thing. She'll never be that sister will never be on her level.
So, absent of her being with a white guy, just her being a Black woman or a woman in general, do you feel like she has that she feels she's better than that Black? We'll use Black woman. That she's better than that Black woman because she has a white woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Who says hell
Leroy,
no? She doesn't think she's superior.
Leroy Jackson the third.
He don't think the white woman thinks she's superior.
Right.
Leroy,
You
why
should be
don't you
saying
come?
heck no, sir. You should be saying heck no.
Yeah,
Language.
yeah. I want Leroy to explain that why he doesn't think a white woman doesn't believe she's superior. To the no, to the no,
You get on my
no, no.
nerves. Why don't you think that they feel like they're superior? I don't know why you just don't jump on here. Put your strobe lights on, get your party gear, get your mood light, and jump on for like 5 minutes because we'll probably be done in like 15. Um, no, he's not. He's asking you why you feel she doesn't think she's superior. Answer that question, then he can answer why do you think she is superior.
Right.
Oh, I'll send you. You know what? Okay, cool. Give me 2 seconds, and I'll help you get up on it. Get up on it. Get up on it. Da da. Pop out. There you go. All right, you have the link. Okay, so Black Shirt, come on back. Stay focused. Stay focused. He says that his experience with white women. Tell us your experience with the woman that is
Okay.
um do you feel white women have more to prove in the eyes of her black man when it comes to black issues?
Do I feel like a white woman has more? Yes. I'll be fair there. Yeah.
Like what? Why?
Um, if I'm sitting down on the sofa with my white girlfriend or wife, and Rodney King is being beat on national television, and I'm outraged, and she over there silent or scrolling through Facebook like it's not a big deal, she better act Hollywood. Even if she don't feel as deep as I feel, she better be like, "Oh my gosh, why are they doing that to him? Unhand him!" And she need to
How
turn,
dare you?
and then she need to put some ebonics on it. Turn them loose. Turn them
Shut
loose.
up.
Yeah, yeah. She's got to go. Yeah, George Floyd gets shot, girl. You better be marching. And when I be saying, "What do we want?" You better be saying justice. And when I say, "When do we want it?" You better be saying now.
Now. You better know them chants.
Yeah, you
You
better
better
know
know
those
them
chants.
chants.
Yeah, 1000%. She has to go out of her way to prove that. Because if I'm with a white woman, if I'm with a white woman and she does not seem like she is all about the Black Lives Matter movement, she got to prove that to me because it's a problem if she's comfortable with that.
I put you on
Yeah,
mute
how does that
because there's
determine?
somebody. I put you on
Oh,
mute. Oh, because there's somebody talking behind you. But go ahead. How's that? Go ahead.
yeah, I'm just saying, how does that determine that? First, how do you draw the conclusion that somebody else thinks they're more superior than somebody just because they're with a particular race, right? And I feel like, because, like, you say you never dated a white woman before. So just by the sheer of you not even having that experience, you wouldn't know. So I feel like, a lot of times we say stuff based off of an assumption, right? And those things can turn into part of quote unquote, you know, truth or half truth or subjective truth, right? And my thing is, from my own personal experience and the people that I know that have dated white women, they've never experienced that. So how do we draw the conclusion that that's what it is? So when
When
you
you
ask me
say
how do I know, I'm just telling you from my own personal experience. And I
when you say
dated
they never
quite a
experienced
few.
that, specifically they never experienced what?
The realist.
Who is no? I'm saying you yourself have never experienced that.
Right. So
So what I'm saying is, so then you talk. So I'm not saying you have to experience something to have knowledge of it, but I'm saying how do you draw those particular conclusions without having knowledge of it? So from my own personal experience, and I dated a plethora of them. I know people that are dated a plethora of them, and the what you your assertion was doesn't line up with the experience.
Okay, what assertion specifically are you speaking of? Let me deal with that.
What you said that they feel like they are more superior to a black woman when they date a black man.
Okay, yeah. So I have never personally dated a white woman. I give you that, but I've been very up close and personal to interracial relationships where the woman was um, white. I have a brother, an older brother, that dated a white woman for many, many years. And in my personal observation and opinion, it's not a fact. White women, let's now see, now you drew me into this. White people have a superiority complex with black people, period.
Hmm.
But before she's dated, I almost said your black aid. No, before, no, I'm just joking. Before she dated any black guy, she already had that, brother. She already had a superiority complex. I think if anything, she may have been humbled by dating you to say, okay, black people not that bad. But you better believe that, sister. Let me tell you, and if sisters don't be offended, uh, I've
See,
heard.
my problem with the statement is when you say that you make an absolute statement, right? The statement made that she was already had a superiority complex before she dated me. That's an absolute statement that you're making. And I don't think I don't think that's an absolute fact. I think again that's another assertion that you may have or you may feel, but that's not an absolute statement. So my problem is, we make absolute statements as if they're the absolute truth, and there is no absolute in the statement. That's just
No,
your opinion.
no
So,
statement is absolute. No statement is ever absolute. Like, what, if you
or
name one
yeah,
statement
yeah,
that is
but I
ever
mean,
absolute. So
yeah,
when
you
people
being,
speak,
hold on, Brandy, hold on. If I say that you're black, that's an absolute statement. You are black, brown, black, however it is. That's an absolute statement.
not necessarily because we have white in our family, so I can't. I'm not absolutely black.
I'm
That's not
no,
an
I no,
absolute
hold on. I didn't,
statement.
no, hold on. Listen, I didn't say that when I say that you're black. I'm not saying, and I'm not speaking in terms of does your DNA have white in it. I'm only talking about the complexion of your skin.
So
So
you're
if I
talking
was
about
to
your
say,
observation of a thing.
do what?
So you're talking about your observation of a thing.
No, I'm just saying in terms of absolute. Are you dark skinned? Is your skin dark? Is your complexion dark?
To me, it is.
Yeah, and to a lot of other people it is. I mean, I couldn't name if we did a survey of 1,000 people and we would say, hey, is Brandy's complexion dark? They would say, yeah. So I'm not so when I speak of absolutes, when we speak of absolutes, and when I'm speaking of them in context, I'm saying we can't know how other people's thought processes are and make that an absolute statement.
Let
And
me
that's a
ask you
true. That's a
this.
true. That's a true
What
fact.
I'm what
That's
I'm
not.
saying is no statement is an absolute statement. Every statement that most statements that people make are based on their observation. Like Brandy, you're black. Okay, according to you, I'm black. Cool. And moving on. According to me, white or according to sisters only, white people have a superiority complex. If you ask that those same thousand
Uh,
people, if you ask those same
that's
thousand people, do white people have a
uh
superiority complex? They're gonna say yes. If they're gonna say
that's
that I'm
not
dark
that's
skinned, if
not
they're gonna
true.
say that if they're gonna say that I'm dark skinned when nobody agrees that I'm dark skinned, nobody says I'm dark skinned. Nobody except for me. So if those thousand people say that I'm dark skinned, those thousand people are gonna say white people have a superiority complex.
I,
Oh,
right.
okay.
So I watch this. This is what I want to say. Help me when I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
The even a poor white person, even a
I
poor
agree.
white person, right? Let's dirt poor white person, whatever. That white person lives in a society that gives them privilege that they may not even be aware that they have. That fact alone provides them with a complex that the average black woman does not have. There are exceptions to every rule, right? Every rule they have exceptions to them, but we don't live on the fringe. We live with what actually is reality. If a white woman is driving with a black man and they're driving in a Mercedes that this white woman owns, and the police gets behind them, her heart rate does not change like a black woman driving that same Mercedes with a white counterpart does. Even if she's not aware of the privilege that she has, she lives in it because the fact that she does not start panting and breathing heavily and things like that, I think that it's an applied superior superiority complex, even if it's not an actual realized one. I think that there is a coolness and a calm
But
and a
in order for
comfort.
you to,
Hold on, Leroy. Hold
you
on,
said
Leroy. Let
stop.
him finish. Hold on,
What
Leroy. Let him finish.
what he said?
Leroy, Leroy,
What he
Leroy.
said
Let him
stop.
finish. Leroy, let him
What
finish.
he said stop when he was low.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that even in those moments, even if she's not aware of what gives her the cool, the calm, the confidence that she has when she's giving her license and registration away, I think the construct of our society is giving her that upper hand. I think there are women white women who know it and use it to their benefit, but I think even the ones who don't know it still benefit from it and live in it and experience it.
I'm sorry, brother. I wasn't able to. The host wouldn't allow me to hold you accountable to your own words.
You
You
can
did
still
tell
hold them
me. You did
accountable, but
tell.
don't cut them
Oh, hold
off.
on. Can you mute yourself? Because I'm now I'm talking. So, brother, you told me to stop you when you was wrong. The initial statement was, "Do they feel like it?" Right, and then you went from them knowing it and not knowing it. So you can't, if you don't know it, you can't feel it. You can't feel something you don't know, right? So if you can't feel something that you don't know, then the two statements don't go hand to hand, right? So which is what I keep referring to is the fact that forget the fact that because you mentioned a good point, right? We definitely don't live on the fringe, right? But the measure, how do you measure, which hasn't even been explained, how do you measure the statement off of what? So that's why I keep saying you make to make the absolute statement that this is how they feel is the issue. Now you can reword it and say, you know, it could be some may feel this way, you know what I'm saying, to bring it to for me to where it wouldn't make it a necessarily absolute statement. Because again, through my experience, through I know a bunch of other people who haven't experienced the same thing where they date a white woman that feels like they're more superior than a black woman because they have a black man. Through my experience, they actually are um, I'm not going to use the word embarrassed, but they actually feel inferior when it comes down to it. I dated a white girl. I never forget. I brought her to my family event. She was very uncomfortable because she hadn't been around a whole bunch of black people like that. But she was wondering whether she was going to feel accepted or not. She was wondering whether she was worthy enough to date somebody like me. This is my own personal experience.
Or was
And
she really worried
no,
that you
well, hold
didn't
on.
Let
So
him
don't.
finish. Let him
Well, hold
finish.
on.
Let him
Hold on.
finish. Let
Hold
him
on. Hold
finish.
on. I can't. I'm telling you. I'm telling you the conversation that we had. Now you can make other conjectures such as, "Oh, was she really worried?" I'm telling you what the conversation was. Now, whatever you want to infer after that, that's all on you. But the conversation was what I just explained, right? And that's not just from one actually white girl. I dated multiple white girls that I brought to family functions, and they felt that particular way, right? And I'm not going to take away from their experience or how they feel, but I know for a fact that if I've been around or I might go when I remember when the Sanford Mall was popping, it was a lot of we was around a lot of black people, and she was done. I was like, hey, we good, like chill out, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't that. You feel what I'm saying? And so,
Listen to what you're saying,
you
though.
know, I hear what I'm
Listen to what
saying.
you're saying. You're giving her assurance. You're giving her assurance
This is
that she's going to be okay. She's safe. This isn't that. Because there's something about
Hold on, time
her.
out. Hold on, what is this isn't that mean? What does this
Right.
isn't that mean? Because you're assuming that I'm saying that she felt afraid for her. She felt afraid. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't scared. Like I needed to reassure her that, hey, you're not gonna get beat up. You know, I'm not. That's not what I. That's
They
not what
don't
I.
think
That's
you're a
not what I meant.
racist.
That that's not. No, that's not even. That's not even what I meant by that. And that's the point that I be trying to make. You
Every
automatically
potato
bring your.
salad has seasoning.
What I'm trying to say is you automatically bring your biases to the conversation, so the conversation lacks objectivity, right?
Do you
They
Objectivity,
not
know
bring
that
your
right?
your chicken
preferences? Do you
So
not
isn't
bring your
all the way
preferences to the
done.
nah,
conversation?
I'm looking at it from no because I'm looking at because
You
I'm on both sides of the coin. I'm black in my own experience, and I've experienced what it's like on the white side. So I bring my own personal experience being black, right? And I also have dated somebody that's white, multiple people that's white, in context of what we're talking about in terms of the superiority and a white person feeling like they're a white woman feeling like she's more
What
superior.
was her
I just want to
credit
keep it in that
score?
particular context. What was the what?
Credit score.
what does it have
You
to do
said,
with anything, weirdo?
you know what?
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question.
No,
So
no,
it's
no.
not
I want to go somewhere. Listen,
okay.
a white woman, and listen, there are exceptions to the rule. We don't live on fringes. A white woman who comes from a middle class, upper class family in America, dating a black guy who comes from a upper lower class, lower middle class family. When she walks in, she notices things are different. There is, you can't tell me that a white woman who let's be honest, majority of them, because we live lives that aren't custom to us. They don't live in our hoods. They don't live in our projects. They don't live in our neighborhoods. If she's coming from her home, her neighborhood, and she sees different struggles when she comes there, even if you say she don't feel superiority, if she goes back to her house, let's say y'all dating high school age, she goes back to her house, she knows there's a difference between where you live on your side of the track and where she lives. That's a fact. She can't be blinded by that. She knows from listening to your stories, if you're telling the stories that most average African Americans have about grandparents that had to work bean fields and had to work as teenagers and not go to college, and she knows that you may be the first college graduate in your family or your generation. She knows that she has uncles and aunts that she can line up for generations back that went to college. She knows she's superior. She knows there's a difference. That's an absolute. That ain't made up in my mind.
But that's what that is,
That's
you know, and that's what I'm trying. That's it. First, it's a couple things, brother. Why I feel like you got some holes. First, you asked what her credit score is, which assumed that I must have had a bad credit score, right?
no,
Like, no,
no,
well, hold
no,
on, no,
no,
because
no,
that's what, no, no,
no.
no,
She
no,
may date
no.
you
I gave
because
you
you
this,
have a bad credit score.
I gave you the space, right?
Wait,
I
wait,
gave you
hold
the
on.
space,
She
G.
may
I
date
don't
you
see you
because you
muting
have a
him. I
good
don't see.
credit
I don't.
score,
You see what
and
I'm saying?
she
You
think
want
your
to talk
uncles
over
and
him,
aunts.
talk over him.
I only get muted.
I'll mute myself.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
brother, the whole point is you mix in the credit score whether it's a joke, right? But those are stereotypes that come off in the black community. Like the only reason why a black man date a white woman because she must got good credit score, right? And I'm just like, hey, at the end of the day, right? It's always assumed that black men date white women to use them for credit or whatever it is. Now, at the same time, I know black men that date black women that be using them. So it's not a credit score thing. A B. I feel like what the second part of that is that also assumes that the black man doesn't have a good credit score, which is another stereotype, right? When at the end of the day, if we are to be talking about uplifting black people, looking at black men, looking at the black community in a better light, then we can't be talking about negative aspects that are stereotypes that actually add on to the devaluation of of black people in and of itself. You can't have it
This
both
isn't
ways,
about this isn't
right?
about uplifting black
No,
people right now.
hold
No,
on.
I'm not going. No, this is not about uplifting
This,
black people. I'm just saying.
I'm not even talking about this. Ain't this? I know.
You mentioned
My point is not about a credit score. My point is about our viewpoints on what we bring to these type of conversations. And I be to be trying to point out how we talk about superiority between black and white, but yet in our own subconscious we devalue black people by our own statements. That's the point of what I'm trying to make. But
I I get that.
I appreciate it. You also mentioned that when white women come back or white people come back, they can go through a lineage of people in their family that graduated college. When I know for myself through the multiple white women that I've dated that nobody in their family graduated college. So it's all, and that's what I keep trying to say. It's all, and that's not the fringe that you would say that it's on where it's like well well that's an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. It's a lot of white people that I went to school with who graduated college for the first time in their entire family. So it's always these assumptions that we bring with no evidence. These are all assumptions. These are all assertions without speaking to the truth of the matter. So I'm only trying to point out, brother, is the fact that though I respect your opinion, before we start making absolute statements like that, we gotta do enough research to say, or even look at it or reword certain things. You know what I'm saying? So that way that way we talking more intelligent about the conversation as opposed to spewing what we just heard other people say. That's
Right.
it.
So
okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me say this first. In regards to white people and superiority and the lower of the white people feeling that they're more superior than the upper of the black people, you could take that based on what you see because you'll never know exactly what a white person feels. You'll never know exactly what a black person is feeling or thinking. They can say something to you, sure enough, but just because they say something doesn't mean it's an absolute fact. And you can tell that based on when Trump was president and these podunk, poor, less than whatever labels you want to give them, white people were treating black people like they were beneath them. One. And two, you said Leroy, you mentioned that when she came to an all black event or Seminole Town Center, the Sanford Mall, was it called that then? I don't know. Whatever. That they were around a bunch of black people, which is going to make you insecure because you're the only one there. And you were like, nah, you good, you good, you good. You offered reassurance. Yes, that happens. I can attest to that happening because I was the only black person in the gifted class, and I was the one that probably had one of the top 2 IQs in the class. But I was still insecure because I was in a situation that I was not um a part of. I was in an intragroup that I was not a part of. So sure, reassurances had to come. That's just life. Not saying that I didn't feel I was superior to them because yeah, I was smarter than probably all of them. And I knew that. But I still had to humble myself in that classroom because I was in a situation where it was 29 against 1 technically. So that doesn't mean that she didn't feel like she was superior. And I'm not saying that she did or she does or whatever, but I'm not saying that she didn't feel superior. Black Shear. I'm sorry, Leroy, unless you want to say something. I'm sorry, the realist. Mm, mm, mm.
so I want to say that is Leroy, are you still
He's
here?
still here. Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to say this. So there are exceptions to the rules. I think though, and this is the common problem. Do we even know what spirit conflict means? Because it's not necessarily brought on by educational level.
Right.
I agree with that.
Right.
I want to say this though. I believe although it's not popular to say, like, I'm not Jesse Jackson, I'm not Al Sharpton, but I think many of us take the few black folks that we know that may have great credit scores and this, that, and the other, and all these kind of things. And I'm not demeaning the race or anything like that, but I want to say this. It is a fact that we are the minority as it comes to a lot of things still. If you go into a gated community, I work in them every single day. The minority of the people in those communities are black people. The majority of them are not black people. There are for sure systems that are set up and are still very prevalent. One is the criminal justice system, where black people are at a disadvantage. That disadvantage, it's real. If you want me to believe that the majority of white people are aloof to that fact, that they're in a place that's better than black people, that white woman may be dating you and you may have great credit. I'm not saying it's impossible for a black man to have great credit, but when she go to Thanksgiving at a black person's grandma house or auntie house, and it's in the hood where we meet at for Thanksgiving, you cannot tell me that she goes back to her gated community. And even though she loves you, even though she knows you're smart, even though she knows you have good credit and you have your own, you can't tell me that she is lost in knowing that there's a difference between where she lives, what she has, and the value that society puts on her and the value that society puts on you.
Now
She knows.
let me play devil's advocate there. What if she doesn't live in a gated community? What if she stays in a trailer park? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying, oh, before Ebony, get on me. I'm not saying why people live in a trailer, all white people live in a trailer park. But what if where she's going back to isn't Heathrow, but it's Skid Row?
That was real quick, real good and witty. I think that if that is the case, which it very well could be, that again, it is the exception to the rule. There is another white America. There's a class of poor white people that know our struggles. But watch this. Even those white people have a superior complex. And I'll tell you this, and I'm not going to go back and forth. Most of Donald Trump's supporters are not people who can afford to stay at Trump Tower at night. They're redneck, rural, uneducated, poor white people. And even they have that complex. And maybe I don't buy that she's aloof. She may love you. She may like you. She may look past it. But it's hard to convince me that any white woman or man dating a black man or woman doesn't have some type of superiority complex with them. I find that really hard to believe.
And I'll actually piggyback off of that. Even if, and I don't want to make an absolute statement. Oh, Leroy's phone died. Darn it. I text him to see wait, how your phone died and you just text me? Come back. And even if, how do I say this? And this is with any group, any person will find someone at that event or at that in that situation or wherever they are to feel better than. It's just a natural thing that we find someone that so that we don't feel we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Sorry, let me see this link. Okay, Leroy, I believe is going to come back because I think he found a charger. But we have like quick math, 8 minutes left. So if anybody wants to add anything at this moment, please do. Oh wait, I want to go back to something that what did she say? I'm sorry. Let me find this real quick. Oh man, I can't find it. Okay. Darn it to heck. So Sony said something, and it was something I wanted to actually talk about. Okay, Leroy's back. He's in his car.
Yeah,
Stalking
yeah. No,
him.
what I was trying to tell y'all was, I feel like y'all misinterpreted, and it was me, my miscommunication. I apologize. She was she was uncomfortable at the mall because she had already been feeling like she wasn't good enough to be with me, and she felt judged by other black women when she was around me, right? And that judgment created a deeper insecurity in her because she didn't feel good enough. Yeah. And those things can transpire in people.
Yeah, brother, because it's the sister. The way the sister looked at the white woman
See, and I
made
was
her
gonna
feel
say
bad.
that. I was
Brother,
gonna
you better
wait.
take, listen,
Wait,
Leroy, call me. Brandy, in this live now. Leroy, I'm calling Auntie
wait,
Lisa. We gonna tarry at the church tonight. Meet me at
wait.
the church.
So, from a black woman, and I don't speak for all black women. I will never claim to do so. I have never in my life, when I saw a black man with a white woman, judge the white woman. I have never. I've never looked into her and been like, she ain't nobody. She is trash. See, my thing is, really, my dude? Okay. What made you go that way? What choice did you make? Why did you da 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 da? But she didn't feel she wasn't feeling insecure about how black woman was judging her. She felt insecure about how she was judging herself.
That's that. I respect your opinion on that, but you know what I'm saying. That's your opinion, right?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I know. And you know what
Can I ask you this,
Wait, he's
Mr.
talking. Wait, he didn't even
what
say anything yet.
when I hear people say, especially when I hear believers, right, say things such as, "Well, what made you go that way?" Like as if God didn't create everybody with the imago Dei, right? And it's like we, to me, when we look at race and black and white and stuff like that, even though we know everything kind of derived from black itself, right? Like you can't get white from black, but you can get black in the white, right? And it's like when you look at that, and then we make
Can't-
these, we make statements, you make statements such as that. It's appalling to me sometimes because I'm just like, where do we go as uh believers, and we become prejudiced. And I'm not saying that all is perfect, because we not, right? But you know at what point in time do we get back to everybody being born in the image of God and in the likeness of God? Or does that even matter?
Let me say this
Okay.
as a believer. I don't believe.
Why are you laughing? You have the best laugh, man. Why are you
Yeah,
laughing
let, let,
already?
let me say this to you as a believer.
Dude, man.
I, I don't believe that God hates white people. I don't believe he hates black people. But let me also say this as a believer. The Bible that you and I read from is full of acknowledgement that racism does exist, and that people have different feelings. And some of that even was instituted by God. People don't want to believe it, but it was. He said, "Don't marry to this person. Don't serve their gods. Don't do this. Don't do that." Let me say this. For you to say earlier and give me a whole dissertation about absolute statements, for you to say that that white woman felt judged because of how black women were looking at her. Did you survey all the black women at the mall?
He
Maybe
surveyed
they
a
didn't like her
thousand of them.
mascara. Maybe you, for you to make the black women the assailant in your story, and that white woman the victim. Let me tell them, this just why Baka make them want y'all touching them white women. Because brother, you need help. You are hating your sisters. You got to come back, brother. I'm praying for you, and immediately after this live, we're gonna have a conference call, a Terry
I
service.
again, that's why I'm trying to. I know you got an interpretation problem because I can tell how you exegete the text, right? So
Come on, doctor.
let's understand the statement that I made. I never made the black woman the assailant. I only shared with you what was shared with me, right? So if that was shared with me, I didn't say that the black woman looked at her in a particular way. I'm only sharing with you the experience that was shared with me from her. A, B. But I did see, furthermore, I did see black
A,
women
B,
look
C.
look at her in a particular way of disgust. I have seen black women when I've been to the beach with
What
pale
if they
hair.
was looking at you? They discussed it with you, not
Right.
her.
Right. If the hey,
Wait,
listen,
can I say something real
if the
quick? Hold
listen,
on.
if the eyes was on me, if the eyes was on me,
Here we
it
go.
wasn't a look of it wasn't a look
Here
of
we go.
contentment. It was a look of, oh yes, he's the one. So but when that's how I know it wasn't at me. They was looking exactly at her. But again, at the same time, I'm not trying to take away from the experience of other people. And that's what I keep trying to share with you, brother. It's not necessarily about making one person an assailant, making one person the victim, because that's not what it's about for me. It's about, at the end of the day, the experience of, what I've experienced and what I've someone else that I've dated has experienced and how they felt. Now, if you took that to mean that I was saying the black woman was the assailant, and the white woman was a victim, went right over your head. Leroy, what would you say you
Um,
dated more
while
white?
you're reading that, I got that from your statement that you said that she felt uncomfortable because black women were judging her. So we were attacking her with our looks, so she felt uncomfortable. But I got to say something real quick before you say something to that. Hold on. And actually, you can speak right after this. But I want to say, post this one where it says Leroy hates black women. Laugh out loud. His mama black. You'll be
See,
surprised how many black men hate black women, even though their mama white. I mean, their mama black. It's possible. Very possible. Not saying Leroy does, because he best not, but that is very possible, Ebony. Ash, welcome to the party. Would you like to speak on
see
the
Gerard, see
matter?
what you started, Gerard. You see what I'm saying?
I just want to say this, Leroy.
Little
I'm glad you
statement, no,
called my
listen, it be
name.
little
Cause so
statements like that
listen,
that'll ruin a nigga name. You know?
Oh my,
listen. Right. No, don't try to be black now. No, you doing just what apostolic preachers do when they get in trouble. They go to Acts 2:38. Don't drop nigga now and try to come back on our side and show us how black you are. Yeah,
Eddie.
you done lost that ability. Listen. This is why we got to get back to singing Amazing Grace the way grandma sung it and get out of these white people churches because they teaching us self-hate. Listen, if that sister saw you with a white woman and that sister looked at you crazy, because she said to herself, she said, brother, we struggle with y'all in the fields of Africa. We struggle with y'all in the bottom of the boat on the way to America. And then we struggle with y'all in the cotton fields of America. How dare you give up on me for that white woman? Brother, you got
Yeah,
you got to come back.
that's what a bunch of 18-year-old black girls was thinking, fresh out of high school. Right. Miss me with that,
So
G.
not black people can't be deep. Hey,
Come on, that G.
Okay,
Stop.
wait,
Hey,
wait, Pause, fellas, pause. Ash, you're up.
For the first time, I agree with Gerard. I
of
feel
course.
like Leroy's making some
No, that's
real
that's
strong
rare.
statements. And I agree with even the last part Gerard say, so now we can't be deep because we 18. It's like, dang, I think that the disgust is with the guy. It's not with the girl. You're looking at her like you have a level of like, oh, okay, really, girl, but really it's focused on him. It's like this is really how you gonna play this out. We out here struggling, and as black women, we are the bottom. We are the bottom. Like
Holding
if you
everything
put
up.
white women, black women, we are the last one on the totem pole. And for black men to just throw that away and not try to, I just feel like black men are something real special when they do certain things. And it's just I agree with Gerard on that one. That
Oh,
baby Roy, I love you. Lord knows I do, baby Roy. But you got to come up out
Yeah,
whatever that you in.
real
I
quick before you
what
say something to that, Leroy. Real quick before you say something to that,
I'm
can
dealing
you
with a
answer the
bunch of biased
question?
people.
Did you answer the question? Would you say you dated more whites than
No,
black?
I wouldn't say I've dated more white women than black women.
Okay.
I think it's a balance. I've dated white, black, Spanish, Chinese. You know what I'm saying? I
Was she
love
Chinese or was she Japanese? I'm joking. Go ahead.
I love women in general. So
Okay, great.
color doesn't matter to me. I date the person, uh, but what I will say is in context to I don't know what that last comment.
Who was that encouraging Leroy?
Chef, Chevalier,
Yeah,
Louis.
so
Are we friends on Facebook? Let me see if I can unfriend
but
him.
What did Chef say? I didn't hear. I didn't see.
what I will say is this, right? I feel like everybody speaks from their experience, right? Um, Ashley speaks from her experience, right? Would I say Ashley is racist? No. Do I think Ashley is prejudiced? Yes. Would I say Gerard? Would I
Ah,
would I say Gerard is racist? No. Do I think Gerard is prejudiced? H, yeah. Um, and he makes no apology. He's not apologetic about it, right? And I get it. We all have our prejudices and stuff like that. But I feel like
Leroy, don't try to tell my multicultural ministry up.
I
I love all people.
right,
I'm a
yeah,
friend of God, and
right,
come on over on the Lord's side.
right. It's because it shows. But anyway, so I feel like when we speak, or like again, I'm just sharing an experience, and and for me, I feel like this is what yeah, going very awkward. I feel like this is what black people do, right? You'll share an experience with a different culture, and then all of a sudden, the person that's sharing the experience is being attacked. And it's like, gee,
Wait, what?
I wasn't the white girl. I'm just sharing with you the information that the white girl shared with me to give you a different perspective of how somebody else outside of your culture will feel from that particular experience, right?
right.
And that's not for me
So
to,
you're saying that
oh
she
my
would you
gosh, Brandy, can I finish my thought, please?
It's a
And
long
that's
thought.
not, and that's
dude, you've been talking for like 14, 15 minutes.
no, I
So
have not. I have not.
if you can interrupt
I ain't
other
even
people, then
talk.
anybody can
It ain't
interrupt
even.
you. Is that
Hey,
simple?
you got. Hey,
If
you
people can
got it.
interrupt
Hey,
you,
you got.
people can.
You got it.
I
You got.
mean, I'm just asking a question.
He
You're telling
wants you
me
to.
that you can telling me that she can tell you something, and what she tells you is absolute true. Like she told me her experience, and that's what
Now
it is.
Leroy wants y'all to be
It
silent
manifests
and
anything.
quiet like
That's what
the
I'm
white women.
asking.
I never even said that her statement was the absolute truth. I only shared with
Okay.
you what she shared in terms of her experience and how it made her feel. And which clearly you would not have known had I not shared it with you. So because the question, because let's get back to the original statement. Will white women feel more superior when they're with the black man? That's what I was talking about, right? So, and all I'm saying is that in that experience, she did not feel superior. That's all I was pointing out. That in that experience, from my experience with white women, that they do not feel superior. You asked me, how do I know? And then I gave you examples of why I drew that conclusion based off what was shared with me. And that was it.
Can I say something to that?
Sure.
I think for you to say when somebody share an experience, they become attacked. The fact that you're using that word because we have a difference of opinion, I think that that's interesting. Instead of saying, "Oh, you just see it differently from me," now all of a sudden I'm attacking you. Wow. And then secondly, you're giving her experience in that situation. So I gave you my experience in that same situation. So, but you're putting so much weight on her experience. And the question is do they feel superior when they're with a black man? In that one instance, she did not because she was confronted with a different truth. She was confronted with confrontation. But I'm sure when she's with you, or not you, but and I'm not saying that they do, but I do believe that some people, some white women do feel like when they're having sex with that black man, oh yeah, I'm doing this because I'm the better one. They have some of them that I know. I know white women personally who have that mentality. Like they have that mentality. I had to unfriend a girl because of it. Because it was so much. It's like, okay, sis, be with him. That's fine. But you don't have to have this air about you. I don't care left or right. It's not I don't care. But I think that we give so much weight to what certain people say, and I think that that's interesting. But I mean, I mean, it's not who cares, but I mean, that's her experience. It's a valid experience. She felt those emotions. We can't say she didn't. That's great. But I'm telling you, as a black woman, when I see, or when a lot of us see a black man with a white woman, it is not that we care about her. It is him. And I think black men who don't see that, they're so in their own head that they're like, oh, all them stairs was at her, that wasn't at me. Because you feel like you're somebody. No, we're looking at you, brother.
Oh, okay.
My hand up. Can I say something? Is it okay if I say something? Okay. My question is, and this is a legit question. This is not trying to be funny and not trying to be extra. This is a legit question. Do you felt she felt inferior or insecure? Like, could she still have her superiority, her
Both.
feeling of superiority, and be insecure?
No,
That
both.
part. That part.
I think she felt both.
She felt both what? I'm oh,
Inferior and insecure.
okay.
And I want to say this also for the
Did
record.
I ask you a question, Brad? Let me
I
respond to
am,
that.
hold on, I want to say this. I'm
Okay.
not prejudiced. I feel like I see it how I see it. I have a white friend. Hello. So I can't be
How many?
prejudiced.
Right. Go ahead, Leroy. I think she just wanted to let you know she has white friends.
Oh
So
yeah, that's cool. So let me ask you this: can she not feel inferior according to you? I'm asking. Do you think she cannot feel inferior, or
can
is it, or do only or is inferiority only related to black people?
Uh,
no she
can I
can
say
no she,
something?
hold on. He asked me that question. Um, white people can feel inferior amongst themselves, but I feel like white
But
people do still have some level of superiority, even if it's the slightest bit. They feel a superiority over black people.
so the only time
Yes.
they
To
can
answer
feel
your question, yes.
so the only time they can feel inferior is around themselves.
Um, I believe so. They may
Okay.
be insecure, but I don't feel like they feel inferior. And it, like I said, it can be even the minutest thing. But yes, I feel like they still have feel some superior.
Wow.
Who put that comment that black men are a fetish? Who put that?
Chev Lovit.
Come
Chevalier.
on, Chubb.
Chevalier Lovit.
Somebody need
I
to preach that. That's a word.
I want to say this to my brother. Nice. I seen you got a pair of new shoes this week. I'm kind of jealous, but let me say this to you. I feel what you're saying in theory and ideology that we should not reserve inferiority or ebonics or broken English to black people alone,
That's all.
because I get that. And I literally had to go off camera and meditate because I was questioned. I get that because I do believe that is a dangerous line of thinking. But I also think that we can't discredit that the current constructs of American society are what they are. Keep hope alive, but I think that we have to admit that there are some systems that are against us and have real results. If a white woman feels inferior to a black woman, if she goes home and she's coming home to meet his family and she feels inferior, I wrestle with how she could feel inferior. Uneasy, yes. Uncomfortable, sure. Apprehensive, maybe. But inferior, I just don't see how she could feel inferior to a black woman. Not to say that she doesn't have reason to feel inferior, because I believe she does have reason sometimes. I think that, well, the current constructs were built around black folks and we're always.
Okay,
I agree
remind
with
me
whoever
not
just
to
said that.
post anything when he talking because you got to stop and read. Just finish your
Right.
comments.
You know I got ADD. Squirrel. But listen, so I think that I don't believe there's enough in our culture to make her feel inferior. I'll say this and I'm done. I gotta go. Uh, my grandmother said to her children that even in prison, white people thought they were better than her. She was an evangelist and she would go visit prisons and pray with people and do stuff. And she said, even in there, they were in prison and there was something about them that were standoffish and arrogant and unappreciative when our black church would go in to the prison. I just think the way society is built, they just, and like I said, I don't think it's intentional all the time. I just think they haven't had enough to humble them to the point to feel inferior. We have experiences to humble us to inferiority, even if it's just made up because of the culture we live in.
Don't leave just
Right,
yet.
and
There's one more question I want to ask. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say something very similar. I heard in my African American humanities course that a white man under the bridge would turn his nose up at the black man driving by in the Mercedes because it is ingrained. It is embedded. I mean, it's put in us that to feel that way, that we should feel inferior to other cultures as black people. And when Gerard made that statement, I don't think that the black culture has enough to make somebody feel inferior. I think it definitely does. We get knocked back every 50 years in this race of life, but we still manage to catch up. I can only imagine, and when we see police brutality, I can only imagine the fear within white people to say, man, these people keep coming. Like we do this and we do that, but they still catch up in this race and they surpass us unless we do something drastic to knock them back down. That has to be scary for you to be running in a race, break the person's leg, and after a while you see them hobbling past you, and then you break the other leg, and then after a while you see them coming again. That has to be something mentally that will cause a mental disturbance, in my opinion. So I think that we have plenty to make somebody feel inferior. We just don't collectively have enough force to let it stick in our behalf.
Real quick, I want to say this, Brandon, before you ask your question. Real quick, I just read a post recently. A white college professor um, had all her white students stand up, and she said something to the effect of, um, "If you're here and you want to be treated like black people, sit down." None of them sat down. Not one of them, because although they may have never been bad to black people, they are acutely aware of the treatment that black people have. And if you can acknowledge it and know that it exists, it has to give you some type of mental strength or some type of mental something to
Awareness.
know that you're different and
Right.
to act it accordingly, even if you're not a racist.
Leroy, I'm sorry. I think you were going to say something. I think I saw you unmute your mic. Did you, or was I just blinking?
Yeah, I would just, you know, you know, I, man, I think sometimes we've been so ingrained with being beneath that it 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 overflows in our conversations, right? Like I feel like to hear Gerard say, there's nothing inferior about us. You know what I'm saying? That would make somebody inferior. That to me that's sad thinking. Like 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 we talk about not. That's why I keep saying we talk about not being feeling low about who we are as a people, but yet we talk out both sides of our mouths, right? On the other side, you saying the complete opposite of what we shouldn't be talking about, how we shouldn't be feeling about ourselves, and that just baffles me. And two, I'm a firm believer in me personally. Of course, we know that inside a society, especially American culture, that it has been designed in a way to keep, you know, black people down, right? It has been designed in a way to make sure that we
can't succeed like a bunch of other races. So I don't necessarily ignore that part. I believe that that is true. I believe that it's 100% true just because I from my own again personal experience itself. But I heard Denzel Washington say something. And I love Denzel. Yeah, he was like, do we consistently blame the issues on white people, or do we look at ourselves and say, where are the absent men in these people's lives? Right? Because and that's not to put the blame on us, but accountability works both ways. Accountability isn't a one-way street; it's a two-way street, right? So, at what particular point in time, what are we doing? What's the vision for us to continue to uplift ourselves as opposed to thinking, you know, that people don't have a sense to be inferior when they're around us. And I don't even really like that word like that because I don't want nobody to feel like if they are inferior around me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even rock like that. But you know what I'm saying? I can't remember what I was gonna say, but that was gonna be like the summation of what I was saying.
I feel inferior. That's fine. Um, so there was this side conversation that I'm not sure everybody saw it, and I'm going to pose the first question, and I'm going to play how the conversation went out, and I'll let you know who said what. Um, Ebony said this, and I want you all to answer it not right now, but in a second. Do y'all feel inferior to white men, white women? To which Chef said, not in the least bit. Um, and then she asked if he feels superior. He said not in the least bit. She said so equal, and this is the response that Chef gave.
Hmm.
So my question is, do you feel inferior to white people? And okay, I'll answer no. Not at all. But that doesn't mean that they don't see me as inferior.
No, I don't feel inferior. Not at all. I just left an adult volleyball game. It's an adult league, and um, this might ruffle some feathers. There was a black girl on another team. It's not that many black people that play. So there was a black girl on the other team, and she kept saying, "Am I the setter? I'm the setter. Are you the setter?" And but when she talks to me, it's a little bit more tone in her. It's a little deeper. But when she talked to
Mm.
them, she's like, "Girl, that was good. Oh my gosh, that was good." And my dad said something so interesting. He said, "You can talk proper, but not talk white." So I use proper English. I use correct sentence structure, but I don't have a white talk. So I use proper English. I use I don't have to do that. And I think that that's a form of feeling inferior. When you get with a certain group and you start changing things about yourself, I feel like that's a sign that you feel inferior. I do not have that issue. That voice laugh out loud. Who put that?
Ebony.
I think that I don't
And that's
feel
Chef.
I don't have that. I don't feel like I have to change who I am. And then you look at things that are going on and how people are changing. And what's his name? Langston Hughes. He wrote this poem, I too sing America. They send me in the kitchen to eat when company comes. But I laugh and I get strong. And he's saying they at the end they will want to be me. And I will, and they will want to be like me. This man wrote this so long ago. And you look at how white women have changed. They're about the same ugly black, the ugly big lips that I have, and the dark skin that I have that was once ugly. Now you're tanning every day. You're getting lip fillers. You're getting hips. So I do not feel inferior whatsoever because I know that at the end of the day, you might tell me that you're the standard of beauty, but your actions show me that you don't really feel that way. So there's nothing that I feel inferior about. And I want my girls not to feel that way either. We don't have to change anything
Beautiful,
about ourselves.
beautifully spoken. I think that was absolutely amazing. Um, articulated
Very well
very
said.
well.
Very well said,
Yeah,
ma'am.
very well articulated. But I do want to say for the record, I do feel inferior. I do feel inferior because inferiority does not only deal with ability, because I don't feel that my ability is inferior, but I do feel as a black man that in America I'm not as valued as the white man. That is 1,000% not lost on me. It's not crippling. It's not debilitating. Like I said, it has nothing to do with my ability, but it has everything to do with my value. It is never not lost on me. I literally was talking to a neighbor tonight, a neighbor I met for the very first time today. He's a white neighbor who's lived in my neighborhood since 1986 when he was born. And we end up somehow getting on race relations in this community. And it led me to believe that he said it out of his mouth. He said, yeah, well, you just got to be careful whenever there's police presence, because I know, with certain people that it could happen.
I'm sorry I had to
Um,
ask that. I know you like to read stuff, but it's called code
like
switching.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope we'll deal with that soon. But I feel like there is.
Who put that comment?
Chef.
I do
Okay.
believe like there is a certain value that is not given to me or my life. Right. You don't who was that? Will you stop? Y'all know I got ADD.
Okay,
But I
go.
do think that there is a value that's not given to my life, that's given to a white life and my issues. I mean, there's a reason that that people go to jail in higher rates that are black than white. There's a reason that people go to Facebook jail at a higher rate than those who are white. That's real. That is 1,000% real. Even with education, even paying taxes, even owning homes, all these things do not guarantee you as a black man better treatment. I'm not talking about my ability. I'm not talking about my worth to my family. I'm talking about in this society, I am inferior to white men.
Do you feel, is it inferiority or insecurity?
No, no. I think quite the opposite. I'm extremely confident in my ability. Uh, let me get a definition real quick. Give me one
And
moment. Go ahead.
I think that so I, but
Our definition is lower in rank, status, or quality, or
that
low or
Right,
low
right.
in position.
Lower in rank, status, and quality. I
oh,
1,000% believe in status and rank, and it's
I think that but I think that that's not I don't agree with that because I feel like black people go to jail at a higher rate, taxes, yada yada yada. That is true. But that is also because, even though we're so off the topic, that is also because when the police come by, we tell a black person we don't like the police. Oh, that's not our
mm-mm.
friend. So therefore, black people are not getting in certain positions to make change. If we got more black people in the police force, even though they're told the same things, if we got more judges and those type things, then we can see a difference in that. I feel like that's something that we're messing up on, in my opinion.
Well,
Um,
what you're saying may be the remedy to my feeling, but the reality is it is what we're in Florida. All of us live in Florida. How many senators are in the state legislature in Florida that are black?
but that's what we're talking about.
Right. So I'm saying it's still the reality of the day that the black man's voice even is not representative in this. If that's not an inferiority by that legal definition, or by that definition that he just read, that's a reality.
I
That's
can
a
I
that's a fabricated inferiority. I mean,
Right, that part.
Florida voted for felons to be able to vote, right? And they know a lot of those felons are black. And what did they do? Try to fight against it. So right now, Florida's still, I believe, trying to fight against something that was voted into by the public. So they're creating an inferiority in status or inability to put Black people in office or Hispanic people or whoever the case may be. But that's fabricated. Yeah.
And I want to say to Chubb comment about adapting because of the voice. I think that I don't agree with that. I feel like Black people um, will make themselves uncomfortable to make others comfortable.
Ooh.
I have a big issue with that.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Can you say that again? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. What?
we will make ourselves uncomfortable to make others comfortable.
Say it just a
I,
little louder.
I'm not doing it. So
Okay.
I feel like we will take the bass out our voice because I don't want to come off a certain way, but yeah, I'm not. I think that you I feel that kind of threw me off. I feel like we're willing to know. Okay, I sound because you can hear how you sound. Oh, I sound different. I know, and it's making me even uncomfortable because if ever I do it, I'm immediately uncomfortable, and I have to consciously go back to who I am. I think that if we stick to our guns, they will have to be comfortable because and
Or have to adjust.
right, they need to adapt. It blows my mind when I'm in a group and the Black person is talking white and then the white people say I'm more Black than them. That blows me every time. I'm like, that they got the bass in their voice, they talking regular, and we over here trying to soften our voice. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, it's like we're not adapting, we're trying to fit in. Somebody better be the voice up in here.
I want to say this, and I'm done for real. Right now, there are 100 United States senators. 100. In all the history of the United States Senate, only 11 of them have been Black. Not in the 100 right now. From the beginning of the United States Senate, there's only been 11 Black senators. And there are 100 right now. And there's probably only 2 or 3 of them that are Black right now. I can think of Warnock, 3, Tim Scott, Warnock, and Booker from New Jersey. So out of the 100 in the Senate right now, there's 3 Black. Since the beginning of time, there have been only 11 Black senators in the U.S. Senate history.
Well, you can't go
If
all the way
that's
back
not
from that history.
inferiority, people,
You can't
I
go all
don't
the
know
way,
what is.
but you can't go all the way back from the beginning of time because from the beginning of time we couldn't vote. So of course we couldn't be a part of the Senate. You have to go from the time when we
So,
could vote, which is
okay,
still not good. 11 is still
that
a
proves
bad
my point,
number.
though, because we're
But
only a couple generations from that. And I think that for us to not acknowledge that there is a leg up for white people when it pertains to certain things, I think that you do the Black struggle a disservice. We have not arrived. I'm not saying woe is me.
okay.
I can't nobody make it. I can't get ahead in life. I got to sell drugs. I'm not saying that. But let's acknowledge the reality that it is a tilted scale, to say the least. I love y'all. I gotta
We're,
I
run
don't
off.
feel inhibited. I
not
don't feel
debating,
inferior. I feel inhibited. Go
we're
ahead.
debating that. That's not. I mean, I literally. That's how we got on the topic. I literally said we do not have people in those positions, so we're not debating that. That was you looking that up and saying that before you go like a mic drop. That you didn't drop a mic.
I wasn't. Don't be rude, Ashley. I wasn't trying to drop a
I'm
mic.
not
I was making a
gonna
point.
be
Don't
rude.
be
I'm
rude.
just saying.
Did you even say don't be rude? Don't be rude. Brandy
Focus.
invited me on here not for you to be rude.
Focus. Focus.
And like
Ashley, you were saying?
we're not we get all of that. I think as Black people, we need to do better. But back to the topic. I don't care who with who. Hey,
I don't care who either.
enjoy your life.
My mama said if they can't use her comb, don't
Oh,
bring them home. That's what my mama
Okay.
said.
Leroy, did you have anything that you wanted to share, muffin?
we were in the club.
Nah. I'm in the gym.
No, you ain't no gym. Oh,
Judging
that's
by
a
the
that's a
judging by the
punk club.
music, he's in a white club.
Okay, so we've gone well over the he left. We've gone well over the time I expected. Thank you, Leroy, for go ahead, Ash.
Are we gonna talk about black women with white men?
Yes,
Because I got that.
yes,
Because
yes. And Ebony better be on here. She better be on here.
I'm all for that one.
Black
Okay.
women with white men. Yeah.
That
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had to get on here and get this thing cracking. You know what I'm saying?
You
Thank you
got
for
to crack
cracking
it.
it. Next time break it open. Anywho, thank you all for being here. Did you guys have any last things you wanted to say? I'm not even going to close anything out because we've been on here way longer than I expected. Ash, go.
I have two things. One, Chubb should have popped on and stopped doing these, being a serial messenger, commenter. Number two, Ebony should have popped on and stopped being in the comments so much. I mean, just join the live. You don't need good lighting. You don't have to be cute. We want to see your beautiful face so we can talk.
Thank you. Exactly. It's a conversation that everyone should join in on. Just come. Come join. Come with the kick drum. Come. Okay. Sisters only.
Um, yeah, I think you should date who you date, and I'm not dating white people.
Okay. Okay. If David Beckham tried to holler, I'd be like, hi. Oh my gosh. Hi. How are you? Wow. Okay, well, thank you for joining me on this topic of white women, black men. Thank you for going every which way about it. Um, and I appreciate you all for joining in. Thank you.
Who was the?
See y'all next week, Chef. See y'all next week. October
Ah!
schedule will be. Oh, I'm sorry. Next week's topic is one Ashley gave me since she's the other topic was just not even interesting. And it's going to be. It's called the over under. We'll explain it later, unless you read the comments and you'll know. All right, bye. Gotta go. It's late. Love y'all. Thank you
Bye.
again. Ta ta.